women need a space, a sacred space where they can be listened to and then guide to find their own solutions. It helps them feel that they're cared for, that they're paid attention to, and it helps them to listen to themselves and to find the answer. What is it that they need to do best to navigate this transition? And then it helps them also to calm down. They feel that someone cares, that they have this support.
Welcome back. Hi, everyone. I am so excited to introduce you to our guest today, Mila Schwab. She is a graduate of the Women's Health Coach certification out in the world doing amazing things. So, welcome, Mila.
Thank you so much for having me here. It's an honor and it's always great talking to you. So I'm very happy to be here.
Wonderful. Same to you, of course. So, let's talk a little bit about what you were up to in your life, in your career, prior to even thinking about joining the Women's Health Coach certification.
Well, I was going through a lot. I made some changes because I was diagnosed with breast cancer,
Mm.
and my profession was human resources consultant. But given the fact that I was diagnosed with cancer and I thought I was eating healthy,
Mhm.
but it happened to be that I wasn't eating healthy for what I needed. So I found myself having to have 33 radiations, two surgeries, and I was wondering what I'm doing wrong. And when I went to the doctor, he really didn't explain to me what was going on. He just basically said, "You're estrogen positive." Even thought I knew what estrogen was, I really didn't know what he meant by being positive. Positive to the tumor that I had. And I understood later on that's what he meant. So
Mhm.
I started studying nutrition, reading about it, and I did pretty well in supporting my treatment of cancer. Then I decided to study nutrition so that I can use it for myself. But then I found myself talking to other women that were going through the same process and were lost. So I decided to study nutrition, but then I was like, that's not enough. I want to specialize in women's health. And I couldn't find a program. I researched and I was really surprised that there were not any programs. So it took me a whole year to find you. And when I started to read, I said, this is exactly what I need. And so I booked a call. And when I talked to you, I knew this was the program. And I went through the 101. Then I decided to go into the women's health coaching. And here I am, very happy. I feel more confident now.
That's wonderful. So, personally, a lot of times when our clients come to this work, our students, just like me, just like you, right? We have these stories of what brings us to a more integrative health perspective. And so what how we start the program is we sort of have you turn the mirror on yourself to begin to implement the health and nutrition and lifestyle changes in your own life. So, as you started doing that, what did you find in terms of your own health and healing?
I found that sometimes what we think is healthy, that we're eating healthy, is not necessarily healthy for us or what we eat.
Mm.
And I found myself with breast cancer, and yet I was going through perimenopause. I have no idea. I have no idea what that meant. I have no knowledge of the hormones fluctuations. I have no knowledge that I needed certain nutrients and things that I needed to pay attention to. Going through the program not only taught me about the nutrition, but also what it means to manage my stress, the connection to the stress, the transition of perimenopause, and then nutrition. It helped me to really apply nutrition from what I need for the hormones, but also for the stress and how to combine all that knowledge and when to use it. And also, not only how to apply it for myself, but how to advocate when I go to the doctor for my own health. Sometimes doctors tell you, do this surgery. and it's not the best for you. They really don't know your body. So through this program, I learned that I need to listen to my body. Then I can make a decision of as to how I'm going to go about based on the knowledge that I have. And that's exactly what the kind of support that I want to give other women. Not necessarily tell them what to do, but guide them, give them the knowledge so that they can best make a decision as to what is best for them.
Absolutely. So you learned that in your own healing of both breast cancer and then much more smoothly managing the perimenopause to menopause transition, which is really difficult when someone has estrogen positive breast cancer, right? Because they're turning off all of your estrogen as abruptly as possible. So you felt that in your body. You got to see the beneficial impacts of changing your lifestyle, and you're so right that stress is one of those issues that is a core contributor to chronic illness, even if someone is eating perfectly, whatever that means for them. And that idea of that bioidentical, like finding the nutrition plan that's right for you, not just the like hot topic on Instagram, right?
Exactly.
And so navigating those transitions yourself and recognizing that you have to have some sense of power of that. Now, as you've transitioned into health coaching, what kind of work are you doing now to help women feel really empowered in their journey, which actually leads to less stress and less medical trauma?
The most important part is that mindfully listening, which is
Mm.
something that I really learned in this program. Women need a space, a sacred space where they can be listened to and then guide to find their own solutions. So, my support of what I have learned in this program is first of all to listen to them. It helps them feel that they're cared for, that they're paid attention to, and it helps them to listen to themselves and to find the answer. What is it that they need to do best to navigate this transition and find the nutritional answers they're looking for. But listening is the number one, and then it helps them also to calm down. They feel listened, they feel that someone cares, that they have this support. And that's the number one thing that I use to support my clients.
Absolutely. So, when you were in your breast cancer journey through the medical system, it's so rare, isn't it, to find someone who really has the space and the skill set to be able to hold space and mindfully listen. And as you said, that's actually a really therapeutic part of the healing that we sort of brush past, right? It's like, do this, do this, do this, go get these surgeries, get this treatment. Even if they said change your diet in this way, it's very different if it's in the context of knowing that someone really understands what you're going through and they're hearing your concerns.
Definitely. I actually had an experience, a real bad one. When I first went to get a surgeon to do my surgery, I went and met this lady, and she says to me, "You need to have a mastectomy." She did
Mhm.
not listen to me. In 10 minutes, she told me that's what I needed to do. And she told me the whole process was horrible. She was very negative. And I just said, okay, I'll let you know. Thank you. And I left. And then I did a research and I found this surgeon. He was amazing. But I felt the importance of
Mhm.
connecting with the doctors. And with my experience, I was meeting these doctors that they didn't have the time for me. They did not listen to me, and they have the solution for me, which was not a solution because later on I found out that same doctor that I first met did surgery for someone else and they totally did a lot of damage. So it's
Mm.
very important to be able to find someone that can really listen to you. And coaching helps helps to do that. The coaching skills are very, very important because there are so many women, even men out there, they need to be listened. I find myself talking to people even when I go to walk my dog, and I find myself doing coaching. And believe it or not, that's how I had gotten like four. clients.
Yeah.
Though they have doctors and they do therapy, they still need someone that listens to them. And that's where coaching comes out to be very handy and very important.
Well, I really love that because what we're seeing is you are so aware of this hole in the marketplace of healthcare. So even if someone does need a surgery, that's not the only thing they need. They need to prepare for that surgery and they need to get ready to recover. They need to put the people in place and the nutrition in place and the lifestyle and sleep and all of those pillars in place to prepare for and recover from the surgery and then prevent the cancer from recurring. And so having the skill set of coaching is actually a communication skill set. So you said you came from human resources, which actually is very aligned because the work of coaching is a communication skill set. So you could be out walking your dog. This is how easy it actually could be to fill your practice because your sales, if you will, is basically coaching people around how they can step into an empowered role in their own healing experience. So it doesn't mean they don't need surgeons, they don't need radiation. Sometimes they absolutely do, but they also need a person to help them navigate that journey when they're at such a vulnerable place.
Exactly, because when you hear a diagnose of cancer, the whole world paralyzed. You're like,
Mm.
oh my God, I have cancer. I'm going to die. And you just don't know what to do. You don't know what direction to take. In my case, it was a stage 0.
Mhm.
So I was very lucky, but I didn't have any knowledge. All that I thought was, oh, I'm going to die. And I just had lost my mom 2 years prior to
Mm.
that to cancer. So I was really devastated. I was full of fear. I didn't know where to go. I have to find it in myself, put myself together, and then start researching. Then I go to see a doctor who gives me a bad advice. And then I have to go and search a doctor that I can feel some type of connection and then decide what I'm going to do. So based on that, I'm like, there's a lot of women that need this guidance, and coaching offers that. It offers then an avenue for to be listened to be guided, and it offers support. One thing about coaching when I first started, I mean, I love to talk, as you can tell, but and coming from a nutrition background, we are trained to not to listen, but to say, okay, this is what you need to do.
Right, make recommendations. Yeah.
Exactly. And that was a struggle for me because being used to make those recommendations with coaching is very different. You have to listen, you have to ask the right questions. You don't know what they're going to be because you have to go with the flow and you have to listen. And listening is hard, but actually now I love it because when you listen, you're not actually doing a lot of work. You're just listening to that person. And then from there, you guide. So, coaching has helped me to develop that, to listen, to be able to guide that person to find the answers within herself. And that's what I needed at that point when I was going through cancer. So now that's why I'm so passionate about it, just to be able to offer that support.
Yeah. And, it's not to say that it's incompatible. If someone also is a nutritionist like yourself or has nutrition skill, they can offer education and recommendations. But there's a sense of disconnection of the person from like what they're being told to do by health professionals often until they have that connection and that trust. Then it's like, okay, now I understand why I should eat these foods or why I should have this surgery and how it will benefit me and what the risks might be. So their confidence soars so much. And we know that that actually is key to them healing. They can make some mistakes in exactly eating the perfect diet, or they can get, some of they might walk more than they should be jumping or something like that. Like, right. We can make some minor errors, if you will, in the lifestyle recommendations. But when a person feels really safe in your presence, Number 1, that's a place where their body actually does a lot of the self-healing work because we know when the nervous system feels safe, the body has more capacity to heal. But number 2, they can make empowered decisions. So even if, let's say, you as a nutritionist or if someone else is a physical therapist or even a surgeon and they're telling them this is the like clinical best next steps for you, when that person believes it and understands it and has that trusted collaborative relationship with you, they're more likely to do it for the long term. They're not going to just be like, okay, she told me I should eat this, but then, it's someone's birthday party. I'm going to like go off the wagon and don't really care, you know?
I think it's very empowering because the client comes back and say, "I did it." And
Yeah.
they're committed. If you tell someone you need to follow this, let me give you a menu for a whole month, they're going to follow it. Maybe they're going to follow it for 2 months, but somewhere along the line, they're going to stop. And when they go to the store to buy their food, they don't know what they're getting. So when you coach them and you educate them and you support them, then you're empowering them to make decisions and they're going to come back to you. I have a client, she has been with me for over a year
Mhm.
and she still keeps coming back to learn new stuff. I have this issue now. How can you help me? And I used to think, after 3 months, I'm not going to see this client anymore. And it's quite the opposite. They really like that coaching. I had had clients tell me, I really need to talk to you, not necessarily about the nutrition. They might have a stress, they might be
Mhm.
facing a bad situation, even with their job and they need to know they need somebody to listen to them and that lead us to certain practices to calm down or to deal with the stress at work or they might need some nutrition to support that stage they're going through. So that's the great thing about coaching, that at the beginning it seems hard, but after it's like, oh, I kind of like this, I'm listening, I'm guiding, but I'm putting the responsibility on them to make the right decision, what they think is the right decision for them.
I love that because I totally agree. I think the beauty of coaching is that the client begins to really own her own journey, and you can see people developing that confidence right in front of your eyes. And as you said, to build your practice can be very simple. You coach in the world and then you continue to hold space. You don't need 1,000 clients because people have a lifelong journey and relationship with health. Some of our graduates have had 30, 50 total clients who they just work with for years. Not that the clients necessarily have more health problems, but they have bigger goals. They want to get a different job. They have now fitness and performance goals. They want to hike a bigger mountain. They want to run a 5K with their grandchild. We can be with people over the long term. So I love that story. Any other great client stories to share for us?
I have a client that she's a professor at the Delaware University. She came
Mhm,
to me because she was pre-diabetic.
mhm.
She was losing a lot of hair and actually she got great results. She's back to normal as far as her glucose levels. So she came back again and she's like, I'm having all these issues that I cannot sleep. And she was talking to me and I said, I always ask them, what are we celebrating today? Something that I learned from the program.
Yeah.
But she was telling me about all these issues. And I said, well, let's take a moment. Would you like to take a moment to relax and do a meditation? And we did. And at the end of the section, what was going on was that she had a lot of stress and she was trying to get a promotion, nothing
Mm,
related to nutrition. And
mhm.
she was struggling with, where do I start? So, what I did was, by asking her questions, I help her get organized. Nothing related to nutrition, to health. It was more that she was really stressed out of how I'm going to face this. And she said, "Wow, I never knew that through a coaching session, I was going to be able to get organized and to get the answers that what I need. So through coaching, I led her to get organized for a presentation that she needed to do, and she got her promotion. I felt so rewarding. I felt so happy for her.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that because that's one of those things that as a, maybe a health clinician, we couldn't necessarily predict. Like we would say, "Oh, they're coming in, they need to change their diet, they need a better earlier sleep routine." No, you had the space and skill set to hold space for her to find out exactly what she needed. She already had the knowing, she just didn't know how to like put it into practice yet. So I love that story. So, what is your practice looking like now? What are you working on? What kinds of clients are you focused on?
It's taking off. For a while, I was stressed out because, doing the website, making sure that I had everything right. And I have no knowledge on that. Actually, I took one of your courses after I graduated from the women's program. And so it was challenging getting the website going, getting the agency to do it, which is sometimes is not the answer. And right now, I'm starting to get clients just by going to the park and using the coaching skills. And I'm starting to put programs together, services and packages. And I'm going to start working on group coaching because I'm getting more clients that what I thought I was going to. So I want to do like a group coaching maybe every 3 months. So I'm excited about that. I finished my blog, so I'm about to download that. And I'm feeling more confident. And I'm getting out there to talk. That was my biggest thing. Getting out there to talk, I have fear with that. But as I work with more clients, I'm more confident. I also was worrying, about the charging part. How do I charge? Are people willing to pay for this? And I'm very surprised. Once you have that skills and you're getting out there, it really happens. So I'm
Mhm.
I'm very excited. There's a big market for women, supporting women, and I'm just working locally now, just the Miami area, and I have a lady from Delaware, so I'm
Mhm.
I'm really excited about that, and I'm starting to move the right direction and getting clients.
I love that. So, yes, after the women's health coach certification, often you can continue in our membership program so we can help you get through the stress of getting your practice launched, get your website built, get your messaging right. And what's lovely is you have this local foundation, but now your message is starting to resonate more broadly. You're getting clients in other states, and when you have clearer and clearer messaging, which is one of the things we work on quite a bit with everybody in this program, clients are more drawn to you because they just align with the specific work that you're doing. And I think there's also a really interesting, we see many of our students graduate and do the same kinds of work. Some will work in fertility, some will work in perimenopause, some like you will work in diabetes and metabolic health and weight loss resistance. And there are lots and lots of people doing this work, but they resonate differently with different coaches. So you have a certain presence about you that is part of your marketing. And I think the more we just are really authentic, which is part of the skill set of coaching, just being confident and authentic and regulate nervous system regulated ourselves, like nice and calm.
I think it's very important to be calm. Actually, I find myself applying those skills that I learned in the program to myself. Sometimes I am like, oh my God, I am so stressed out. Let me calm myself down, especially before starting a section with a client.
Mm.
It is important to calm down. And also being spiritual. I love the program because it is stressed out the listening, the mindful listening, the empowering the client. And from my spiritual experience, I mean, after going through cancer, you become very humble and very spiritual. You're very grateful and you celebrate every day. So I have learned to combine the two skills. Actually, coaching skills have brought me to use more of my spiritual foundation. And what I mean by that is being more calm down, listening more, being more aware of the person that I am helping with. So,
Yeah.
and it's embracing that. Whereas before, I look at coaching as a hard job to do, as a lot of work to do. And now it's just it flows. I even use it for my family when I'm talking to them. Of course, they don't know that I am,
Right.
but it works great because instead of getting personally involved in whatever situation they're facing, I am leading them with questions, and it leads them to that moment. Oh, wait a second, I can be doing that. So
Yeah.
I'm loving it. I went from being hesitant about using coaching or becoming a coach to wow, this really works.
Yes, and it's hard to really see it until you're out there doing it, right? You're like, "Oh my gosh, this really works." And it takes so much pressure off of you because the client gets more and more confident and more owning their journey. You're not like trying to, make sure you eat your vegetables like you might have been before.
It takes a lot of pressure, and it shifts the responsibility to the client and it empowers them. They feel better because they don't feel like you're after them like a mother is after their kids. So they
Right.
feel much better. I had people say to me, oh, I made a mistake and this week I wasn't good about eating, you're gonna be mad at me. And I said, no, why would I be mad at you? This is your journey. You know what to decide what is best for you. And they're like, oh, okay. And then we go over as to what happened, what were the obstacles that they encounter, and how to work on that. And so they feel more comfortable. They look at you as a support person, not as somebody that's going to be yelling at them or scolding them or anything like that.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for sharing this journey. I think you're such a model of how coaching can be a really beautiful career to step into, even if you don't have a prior deep background in healthcare. We have many people who've come from human resources. We have many people who've come through learning nutrition and doing a lot of their own work for their own health journey. And the skill set of coaching is becoming more valuable, more valued, easier for to get clients because clients more understand what it is now. And as you work together with us to refine your marketing message, it again becomes easier to grow your practice. So you've been just a shining example by showing up and doing the work. That's really what it takes.
And that's important. And thank you so much for inviting me. Thank you so much for all the programs. Thank you so much for the support. You all have been great. You keep me going, motivated, and I look forward for any new programs that you have. I'm always looking what is new. I'm part of the membership, and that's really a great service. I can always go back and review all the programs I had done it, and most important, it keeps me up to date and it keeps me moving forward. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much. And if anyone wants to learn more about your work, where can they find you?
At www.nourishedbymila.com.
Excellent. Nourishedbymila.com. Thanks again for being here. Thank you, everyone. And we'll see you soon.